Hey guys, welcome back to Clockwork Noodles for another breakdown of Spy X Family Core 2, episode number 4. Can't wait to break this one down with you because there's so many little subtle differences between the first core and the second core that I really can't wait to delve into with you guys. Do make sure you are subscribed. In about 2 weeks time, I'm bringing you my midway review. In the midway review, I'm going to be going through my top 3 OPs, EDs and current standing of anime. And this is a hard one because I do truly believe we are in the best season all year. This is the best season that we've had for anime. We are being spoiled right now. Left, right and centre, there's golden animes which in their own respective seasons each year could have been, anime of the year kind of standard. Can only break down what we've got given. They can't all be number one, otherwise it would be me cheating you guys out of a top 3. I won't do that to you guys, but I will say that I've definitely got my songs roughly sorted. It's been difficult as well because things like Chainsaw Man, they have a new ED every single week. That one I'm going to have to pick my best from the first 6 episodes. It's probably going to be on the list somewhere. There's 6 different songs, so it has 6 chances to try and impress me. So if you want to see how that goes, make sure you guys are subscribed. Second season of To Your Eternity starts airing, and you guys know that is the 3rd anime that I will be full breakdown on my channel. Very excited to welcome that back. I believe it airs tomorrow. Very excited because apparently it tells a very different story because 10 years have passed or something. But without further ado, let's get on to the episode, which is all about Yor. I recently had my Yor photo shoot. It was great. It was so fun. I had to do the kicks, and the kicks were hilariously fun. With the outfit I'm wearing, it does actually kick up the skirt at the back. Nice to see how, even with the art, that it's not too out of the realms of possibility that whenever she kicks, you get those beautiful fabric folds. Can't wait to hopefully have some images to show you guys from that shoot. They're being edited right now. But this time it is Yor's turn to take centre stage on the plot. I do love the misdirect. There's been so much misdirect in this initial build-up. You believe that Yor's maybe got a severed head or she's being murdering, but Lloyd is very suspicious that she's coming home. She's got the cuts on her fingers and hands. He's suspicious. I don't know if he was suggesting that she might have been cheating or something. Even if she is, it's a fake marriage anyway, so I don't think he'd have been too fast. It's a complete misdirect on what's actually going on. I love the camera work we get as she is walking down the street, all slanted, to give you the idea that something may be amiss. Welcome to Hell's Kitchen, Yor's Kitchen. It is a nice tie-in too from last week because all Yor really knows is Lloyd was on the toilet. He had stomachache. He had a real issue. Something was going on. Yor feels responsible because presumably she does cook occasionally, even though it makes more sense that Lloyd is the one who does the cooking because her cooking bar has been the butt of all jokes and it probably still is going to be, but we do finally get a bit of a win in the kitchen this week when we had the kitchen nightmares. Hysterics as we start having the earlier attempts of her bringing cactuses. I mean, if you're making cactus juice, sure, but cactus doesn't really have a place in any recipes. Cutting through a wooden board was absolutely hilarious as well, and I almost pity Camilla being dragged into this against her own will, but then I realised that she did a humiliating party trick with her. I think I remember her from Core 1 not being quite nice. Yuri showing up. So happy that he does appear, but he hasn't properly appeared yet. I do want another episode of him and his blind love for his sister. Simply saying you're amazing, even if she's making mistakes, even if it's poison and he just doesn't. That is some blind devotion right there. Generally on this channel, I absolutely gush over anime food. Today, guys, I'm not feeling very hungry. I mean, look at this happy face though. Yuri's happy face is just enough to light up my little world. And I figured because he had grown up around her food and she'd obviously taken the lead in looking after the two, that he was probably at least somewhat immune to poison. I don't know if this is real. There is that theory that if you have a teeny weeny bit of poison, eventually you gather an immunity to it. Now, I also think this is actually a lie and a myth, but I can't remember which side ends up winning. Maybe there's a grain of truth. If you're eating something which is slightly dangerous every single day, eventually it just doesn't affect you anymore. Despite the fact that Yuri is still eating things and throwing up at the same time, where his body is literally trying to remove the poison. Come on, Yuri. You're not that, blinded by love to realise that your body is throwing up right now, right? But I did have a dark theory that Yuri and Yor are as thin as they are because they've actually been relying on Yor's cooking. If their bodies are throwing up naturally, because you see as a kid, he's still throwing up eating the food, his body isn't perhaps getting as many nutrients as he should be, and same with Yor because she's also eating her own food. I don't think she's affected by her food. Maybe not so much her, but definitely with Yuri, he might be suffering from some malnutrition because he's only really trying to eat what she's giving him. Pretty much devoted to his sister, so he doesn't see the throwing up thing as a bad thing. Perhaps there is this really dark theory here that he's thick thin. I don't think he's a very tall character. Lloyd is definitely taller than him. Perhaps there's a reason for this. Perhaps this is the dark theory that I've got behind it. I did almost feel really sad though, because he does say that he can see his mother, and it's like, oh no, he's on the brink of death and he can see his dead parents floating around. I also thought it would never be the day that I would praise Camilla, but I am praising her this week because she's able to work without a recipe that she's never even heard of, perhaps ever tasted. Yor and Yuri are able to come up with a recipe from their past, but she doesn't even get to see it. She doesn't get what we, the audience, get. We get that nice little flashback to see the dish. She doesn't get that. She's able to work off what she knows, and she's even able to go, well, you're from this area. They probably do this, so let's put some of this in and it will probably taste better. Clever. And it also makes me wonder if Camilla's up to something with her knowing the regions, but then she might just be into her culinary stuff. We end up seeing a dish that pretty much resembles the past version. I think it becomes a bit more realistic when she puts the egg on it later. It definitely looks exactly like what we saw in the flashback. We finally have a dish that has no casualties. She's really happy that she's finally able to give food to her family. Seeing their happiness makes her happy, and it's a really nice moment for Yor as well, because Yor is changing, and as we see with Camilla stating that ever since that happened, you're now less robotic, you're more human, you're better and more approachable, and I guess you appear more natural. Maybe is the effect of being married, even if it is fake. It's a confidence, it's a coming out and finding yourself and being a bit more at home with who you are. Yor's cooking for the first time results everybody actually being able to enjoy a meal. Good old dose of nostalgia too for the twins, because they ate it and they're able to think back to a good times. This week's episode is a nice little heartwarming one as the seasons start to draw in. Wherever you are in the world, it's probably getting somewhat colder. Probably would be happy to eat stew. Whether we'd want to eat Yor's stew or not, maybe not, but I could definitely settle down for something quite warm. It's getting a bit chilly outside. I don't think we're going to get any snow this year, but it's definitely going to be raining a lot. Having a happy meal at the Forges until we get to dessert, and well, that's it guys. Final episode. What did I think? Rest in peace, Spy X family. End of the anime. Done. Everyone's dead. One step at a time for Yor, perhaps, but absolutely hilarious how everybody's all happy and then suddenly, dong, they're dead. Filter comes around and Yor is freaking out and everyone's just laying there on the ground. Her having a dish which actually tasted good is something which is key. Maybe she needs to start recreating some of the dishes that Lloyd has prepared for her. Going on to the ending little chunk of the anime episode, we've got Frankie, the king of threats. The face on Lloyd tells you everything, because if Frankie goes to the secret place, Lloyd is dead. That's it. The anime really is over, guys. For real, the anime would be done. Absolutely love the seriousness on his face, and Frankie suddenly realising, actually no, I've gone too far. I'm sorry. My bad. Don't kill me. Reaction to Lloyd when he finds out Frankie's got all of this information and calling him a stalker, because it is kind of stalkery, because he does strike me as a employer right now going through CVs. This is the kind of information I'd expect employer to maybe have, minus the blood type thing. I know it's very different in Japan. Over here, I don't know my blood type, and if you really do know your blood type, it's because you've maybe had a baby. They will tell you and say, hey, this is this. Especially in the UK, it's unlikely, unless you're in hospital a lot or frequently, you don't actually know your blood type. It's not really a thing we have. This could be different. I don't know if you guys in the US have anything different like this, or you find out your blood type and you have it noted down. We don't really have that kind of stuff. So my employer doesn't know my blood type. I don't know my blood type. My parents probably don't know my blood type either. Absolutely hilarious little moment, because I love seeing the chemistry between Frankie and Lloyd. I think these guys are hilarious. Would love to see more with these guys, maybe even just a spin-off OVA with these two dealing with something. There's a few characters in particular I would love OVAs of. Maybe an OVA with Yuri, that would be great. An OVA with Frankie and Lloyd together. Maybe we can spend some time with Handler. I think Handler's awesome. Whilst the two were chatting, I was really hoping they were whispering, because Frankie literally blurts out Twilight's name out in public. You would think that with how high alert the country is, that there's at least somebody who's off duty as a secret police floating around. Maybe they just heard the word Twilight get blurted out for some reason. For quite some time, they're just whispering on the screen. I'm like, I don't think they're just whispering, but okay. Frankie sadly gets rejected, the lowest of the low, as Anya comes up to him, and even Anya kind of puts her hand on him and she looks really sad, just to kind of comfort him, because a child is literally comforting you right now. Just that level of kind of, you've hit rock bottom, this is it. I felt so bad for Frankie. The moment at the end of Lloyd and Frankie having some time together, it's so nice. Got a great chemistry. Lloyd there reluctantly just being, oh no, I'm just here by accident, you know. He didn't want to admit that he's there because he cares or anything. It's an unspoken rule between the two that they do care for one another. I like seeing them together. They're definitely a pair I definitely want that OVA of. It's also a bit of a reality slap because we're talking about it's perhaps a good thing you got rejected because, well, it's not going to work out. With your career, you're probably going to be around the clock somewhere else and you can't really have a wife because you're always going to be lying to them. And obviously, Lloyd's a special case where he needed the family for his mission, but we already know that at some point there's a possibility he's just going to walk away and leave both of them on their own, despite the fact that he does say he'll check in from time to time. It's that sad reality that we keep touching upon. I think this core is a little bit darker. I've said it a few times. I like this fact that it's a little bit darker because we are still dealing with something quite serious. Threat of war. Any moment we could burst into something that would literally disrupt all of these characters' lives. Even with Frankie and Lloyd, the fact that they can't really have a normal life where you can just go and ask somebody out, fall in love with someone, have a relationship. Cold, harsh reality for both of them. The fact that we can't really get involved with people because there is this war, because we are spies, because this is the nature of the game. A nice little reality slap to bring us back down to earth at the end of a fun episode. I really liked today's episode. Can't wait to see where we're going next week. It seems like Damien is in the credits. Can't wait. Really excited. I am really enjoying the second core of Spy X Family. Good anime to snuggle up with, I find, as well, especially with how much darker stuff is airing this season. I really do enjoy having an anime that's a bit more lighthearted. Not quite, but more lighthearted than things like Chainsaw Man, which are airing this season, which are bringing the gore and the blood. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you're taking care of yourselves wherever you are. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.